I'm Emily.
And I'm Jewel.
And this is our vlog! Today we're going to discuss the play Picnic. So first we'll start with the plot just so we know what's going on. If you're going to see this play, pee,
Yes.
bring a snack.
Yeah.
Don't expect to be anywhere in the next 3 hours.
Maybe take a nap too.
Because it takes so long just to get to the actual problem that the characters are supposed to be overcoming. And the first act is just long. Once it does get to the actual events, once it does get to the actual problem that she's have to solve, you realize that Madge has to pick between the guy that her mom loves and wants her to marry, rich dad, whatever, and then the bum that just shows up, white Kansas trash, and so that actually is the climax point. So that was pretty interesting. The second act, I said the second act was a lot more interesting just because things actually were happening.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was cool. The plot definitely took place back in time, but it kind of had a relatable feeling. I think all teenagers have been there, done that, having someone that either their friends don't like or their family doesn't like, and then having to make tough decisions about what to do.
So we're going to talk about the spectacle of Picnic. I could see the grass on the stage was really cool. And then also just everything inside of all the houses were really detailed too. So not only did you have these big houses, but everything inside of them was so real.
Yeah, and definitely with the lighting, the moon and the sunrise, it actually shifted to match the time of day. So you knew whether it was nighttime or if the seasons were changing.
Especially because that was so important for the plot of the play, to know when it was.
Yeah, so the spectacle really played into that. The sounds were big. I remember you could actually hear the train coming, and knowing that the train was coming kind of pushed this plot forward even.
Especially Madge, she had so many outfits inside of the house. She had her new dress, and then the flower dress, the dress she originally wore, and her work dress. Plus she had her going away outfit. Millie, every time the day changed, they changed outfits everybody did. So it really played into the realism of the play to make it seem like it was actually their house.
Also, actually how she had the cigarette, that just was so cool in the beginning because it really looked real. It might have been real, I don't really know because there was smoke coming out, but I think that the whole set really made the play better. Yes. If the set wasn't there, I probably would have not been.
I think the spectacle, definitely. I think the spectacle was definitely a big part of this play.
It made the play.
Okay, I'm here to talk to you about the music of Picnic. There wasn't a whole lot of music. You could hear the radio being turned on, and sometimes it played music, but a lot of the times, which I thought was cool, it kind of talked about the current events that were going on. Also, they had music from a band for the picnic.
So, there was a lot of dramatic language in Picnic, specifically regarding Millie and Madge and their mother, and the boys. When they would get into the fight scenes, you could hear their voices go up. Millie also used a lot of sarcasm that helped distinguish her character. So the ending was very sad and emotional, and you could hear that reflected in their voice and their tone. When things got intense, so did the language. There were curse words every now and then, and that just helped distinguish their moods and help the plot even more.
The theme of Picnic for us seems to be getting stuck out of where you are, whether that be your hometown, your relationship, your family. You can see a lot of examples because Madge picks Hal, he's daring and the adventure over, the predictable, average Alan, even if it defies her mother. You hear Millie talk over and over again about going to New York and wanting to change the world.
So beginning with Madge, Millie, and the mother's relationship, you can see that they're family. You can also, they talk a lot about their pastime, so it kind of gives that deeper idea of who they are. They know that their father isn't there anymore, and the mother's a little bit resentful.
A lot of sibling rivalry between the two, because one phrase you hear over and over and over, Madge is the pretty one. So there's always that. And then the main characters, like, so I'd say Madge and Hal are probably the two most important because they're the ones that, you know, run away, and Madge is the one that has to make this huge decision about like where she's gonna go.
Yeah.
So I'd say she's pretty realistic. I mean, not everyone gets tired of hearing that they're pretty, but like,
Yeah.
she's
How?
a pretty easy represented character. But Hal, I did not like him.
No.
I didn't like him.
No. I understand he has like a bad pastime, and I did feel for him in the sense, but he's just still like very into himself. Like he knows deep down that
He thinks he's trash, but yet he boasts about all the things that he's done.
and maybe that's to cover up the fact that he really thinks he's trash, but coming from like an audience member, I just really didn't like him that much, and I wanted to because I wanted Madge to be happy and run off with the love of her life, but at the end of the day, I was like, nah, Alan was kind of nice though.
And her mother's right. Like, I mean, he can't support her. Like, she's like, and when she says, you know, even if you do love him, try not to for like what's better for you. And I feel like that's really realistic of like a mom because she's just worried and
Yeah.
also just kind of dumb.
I felt bad.
I liked Alan. He's going places. I hope he goes places.
I think there was a lot of comic relief in the teachers and that whole like little clan when they came in. They kind of had like made everyone laugh, and there needed to be that comic relief in a play like this. It was just a lot of intense and emotions and feelings, so having them really helped me as an audience member not go too crazy.
Yeah, not get too bored or be too sad.
Also Bomber too.
Oh
Newspaper boy.
He was funny. And then Rosemary and Howard's relationship was also just, I feel like that whole thing was just kind of a form of comedic relief because clearly Howard didn't want to be married, but, you know.
Yeah. It was funny. But overall, I think the characters really meshed well on the stage, and you could tell that they worked really well together.
So there are two characters throughout the whole play that never had any speaking roles and were barely even in center stage the whole time, but had their own little story going the whole time. It was Esther and Troy. Another reason, not only for comedic relief, but they were also there because this play was in the whole separate but equal thing went along. Esther and Troy were African American, and if you look at the play, the interactions between the white characters and Esther and Troy, the white characters never really acknowledged them.
Yeah.
There actually was a point that I noticed where Alan and Troy were like passing each other, and Alan just stopped and waited for him to get out of his way. Kind of a subtle way to bring upon the social issues of that time.
Yeah, I found that really interesting. Also, the character, we have to mention this, Madge. In the beginning, the old lady who comes on the stage and is going up to the house, I'm supposing that's Madge in the future because then she came back out.
She had her cell phone too.
She had the cell phone? Yeah, so she was coming back to like see her home, and that made me feel like it didn't work out with her and Hal because I don't know, it was just really, like, the way she came was very nostalgic and almost sad.
At the beginning, she really seemed sad.
And then she reappeared at the end and, like, left. It was kind of like saying her final goodbye, but, I mean, it didn't say exactly what happened, but I want to say that maybe she was looking back and saying, my mother was right.
I should have listened.
Come on, Jewel. Ornery bastard.